Welcome to the Tech and AI Toolbox, AI, apps, and future tech. Discover the latest AI tools, software innovations, and technologies changing the way we live and work. From smart apps to future trends, we explore the ideas and solutions shaping the digital world. Open the toolbox. The future starts here.
Hey, welcome to the very first episode of our little corner of the internet. I am Zoe, and I have to be honest with you. I am sitting here with a huge grin on my face because this is it. This is episode 1. I've been dreaming about this for a while, and now that we are finally here, I am so excited I could barely hit the record button. So here's the deal. This podcast is for you. If you have ever been curious about smart tech, artificial intelligence, or just cool software that makes your life easier, no boring theory, no dry academic lectures, just real talk about real tools that actually matter. And I promise I will make sure everything stays understandable, even if you are just getting started. Today is our first date, so I thought I would give you a little taste of what is coming. We are going to talk about a wild AI tool that lets you generate videos from text. Yes, you heard that right. Videos from just a sentence. Then we will look at a new piece of software that is changing how developers work. But do not worry, you do not have to be a coder to find this interesting. And finally, we will wrap up with a handy little tool that anyone can use to boost their productivity. Sounds good, right? All right, let us jump in. Let me start with something that absolutely blew my mind recently. There's this technology called text-to-video generation. Imagine typing a sentence like a cat wearing a spacesuit walks on the moon, and within seconds, you get a realistic video of exactly that. This is not science fiction anymore. It is happening right now. The company behind this is called OpenAI, and their tool is named Sora. Sora is a generative AI model that creates photorealistic videos based on text descriptions. It understands not just the objects you mention, but also how they move, how light falls on them, and how a scene should evolve over time. So if you write a prompt about a sunset over a futuristic city, Sora can generate a video that looks like it was shot with a high-end camera. The resolution is impressive, the motion is fluid, and the level of detail is honestly a little scary. Why does this matter so much? Well, think about content creation for a second. Right now, if you want to make a video, you need a camera, lighting, editing software, and a lot of time. Sora basically eliminates most of that. Marketers could create product demos in minutes. Teachers could visualize complex topics for their students. Filmmakers could prototype scenes without building expensive sets. And small business owners who cannot afford a production team could finally create professional-looking videos. But of course, there is a flip side. Whenever a technology like this emerges, people get worried. And rightfully so. Deepfakes are already a problem, and now we have a tool that can generate entire video scenes from scratch. The potential for misinformation is real. OpenAI is aware of this, and they are implementing safety measures like watermarks and content filters. But the technology is moving faster than regulation, and that is something we all need to keep an eye on. Still, the creative potential here is enormous. Sora is not publicly available for everyone yet. It is being tested with a small group of artists and safety researchers. But the demos we've seen so far suggest that this will be a game changer once it rolls out. If you are in any field that involves visual content, I would start thinking now about how you might use a tool like this. Let me shift gears and talk about something a bit more practical. You've probably heard the term open source before. It basically means software whose code is freely available for anyone to use, modify, and share. And there is a fascinating development happening right now involving a company called GitPod. GitPod is a platform that provides instant development environments in the cloud. That sounds very technical, I know, but let me explain it in plain English. Imagine you are working on a project. Maybe you are building a website or writing a script. Normally, you would need to install a bunch of software on your computer to do that. You would need a code editor, a database, a server, and various other tools. Setting all of that up can take hours, sometimes days. And if you switch to a new computer, you have to do it all over again. GitPod solves this by giving you a ready-to-go workspace that lives in the cloud. You open it in your browser and everything you need is already there. The editor, the tools, the dependencies, you do not have to install anything on your local machine. And the really cool part is that GitPod recently open sourced a big chunk of their technology. That means developers can now create their own version of GitPod, customized to their exact needs. Why should you care if you are not a developer? Because this trend toward cloud-based work environments is going to affect all of us. More and more companies are moving their workflows to the cloud, and when development tools become this accessible, it lowers the barrier to entry for learning how to code. If you have ever thought about picking up programming, tools like GitPod make it easier than ever to get started. You do not need a powerful computer. You do not need to configure anything. You just open a browser and start learning. The open source move also means that the community can improve the software at a much faster pace. Thousands of developers around the world can now contribute to GitPod, adding features and fixing bugs. This is the beauty of open source. When a project is truly open, it evolves much faster than any single company could manage on its own. All right, let me move on to something that everyone can use, regardless of your technical background. I want to talk about a tool called Notion. You might have heard of Notion before. It is an all-in-one workspace that combines notes, databases, task management, and collaboration features. But here is the thing. A lot of people use Notion just as a simple note-taking app and miss out on its superpowers. So let me give you a quick tour of what makes this tool so special. Imagine you are planning a vacation. You could use a separate app for your to-do list, another app for your itinerary, a third app for your budget, and maybe a fourth app for storing documents. That is 4 different places you have to check. Notion lets you combine all of that into one single page. You can create a database of places you want to visit with columns for estimated costs, priority, and notes. You can embed a map showing each location. You can link to your hotel booking confirmation and flight tickets. And you can share the entire page with your travel companions so everyone stays on the same page. The real magic of Notion is its flexibility. It does not force you into a specific workflow. Instead, it gives you building blocks and lets you arrange them however you want. You can create a simple list, or you can build a complex project management system with linked databases, formulas, and automations. The learning curve is a bit steep at first, especially if you want to use the advanced features. But once you get the hang of it, you will wonder how you ever managed without it. For example, I use Notion to keep track of everything related to this podcast. I have a database for episode ideas with columns for status, topic, and guest names if I plan to have any. I have a separate database for research links and resources. And I have a dashboard that pulls information from both databases and gives me a bird's eye view of where everything stands. All of this lives in one place, and I can access it from my phone, my laptop, or my tablet. Notion also has a really powerful AI feature now. You can ask it to summarize a page, rewrite a paragraph in a different tone, or even generate ideas based on your existing notes. I use it sometimes when I am staring at a blank page and need a little inspiration to get started. The AI is not perfect, but it is good enough to help you overcome that initial creative block. If you are new to Notion, my advice is to start small. Do not try to build an elaborate system on day one. Just create a simple page for one specific purpose. Maybe it is a reading list or a weekly planner. Use it for a week, see how it feels, and then gradually add more pieces as you get comfortable. Let me tie everything together before we wrap up. Today we talked about 3 things. First, Sora, the AI that can generate videos from text, a tool with incredible creative potential, but also serious ethical questions. Second, GitPod and the open source movement, which is making development tools more accessible to everyone. And third, Notion, the flexible workspace that can replace a dozen separate apps and simplify your digital life. Each of these tools represents a bigger trend that I want to keep exploring with you in future episodes. AI is getting more powerful and more accessible every month. Open source software is reshaping how we build technology, and productivity tools are becoming smarter and more integrated. These are not just geeky topics. They affect how we work, how we create, and how we live. If you enjoyed this first episode, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. It really helps a new show get off the ground. Also, if you have a topic you want me to cover or a tool you think I should check out, just let me know. I read every message, and your input will shape where the show goes. For now, that is all for me. Thank you so much for giving this first episode a listen. I am beyond excited to be on this journey with you. Keep being curious, keep exploring new tools, and I will see you in the next episode. Zoe out.